You know, guys, things are just getting absolutely out of control with the Trump administration. The fascism is ramping up faster than I anticipated. We've already seen them arrest a sitting House member, saying that she raided an ICE facility down in New Jersey, even though that was a lie. They have sent troops and active duty Marines to California, also based on a lie that everything was out of control. And now this administration has arrested a sitting senator for trying to perform oversight duties of the DHS, the agency that is currently doing these ICE raids across the country, and in California specifically, rounding people up without any due process, masks on their face, rolling into workplaces, targeting innocent individuals. And a senator showed up to ask Kristi Noem some questions, and they manhandled him out of the room. They threw him to the ground, put handcuffs on, and detained him. This is what fascism looks like. And I know there's a whole bunch of people out there that probably say, oh, you're being hyperbolic. Sorry, guys. This is fascistic. It is authoritarian. This is what we were warning about before Donald Trump got elected. And I will continue to sound the alarm, because this is what fascism looks like. So let's go ahead and take a look at this arrest really quick. And then I want to show you how Kristi Noem has already run over to Fox News to try to get ahead of this story, because it looks so damn bad for the administration. If you guys do appreciate my work, please do remember to subscribe.
I have questions for the secretary, because the fact of the matter is a half a dozen violent criminals that you're rotating on your
I also want to
hands off.
How many of our ICE agents have been docked?
On the ground. On the ground. Hands behind your back. Hands behind your back.
If you let me get in my hands, go ahead, put them behind my back.
All right. Cool. Hands in the hand. Lay flat. Lay flat.
Other hand, sir. Other hand.
This is a senator from California who is on the immigration subcommittee, who is trying to perform oversight duties of DHS, the agency that is currently wreaking havoc in Los Angeles. He shows up to perform oversight, and he is arrested. And the crazy part about all of this is we now have Kristi Noem running over to Fox News, trying to pretend like nobody knew who this guy was. He didn't even identify himself. Listen to this load of shit here.
You know, what I would say is we were conducting a press conference to update everyone on the enforcement actions that are ongoing to bring peace to the city of Los Angeles. And this man burst into the room, started lunging towards the podium, interrupting me and elevating his voice, and was stopped, did not identify himself, and was removed from the room. So as soon as he identified himself, appropriate actions were taken. But I would say that, I had a conversation with the senator after this.
So listen to the language that she's using here. Oh, this man, he lunged towards my podium. He didn't even identify himself. We didn't know he was a senator. We didn't know it was the senator from California who sits on the immigration committee. We didn't know any of that. Except she's lying, which is what this administration does every single goddamn day. Lie after lie after lie after lie. DHS is in Los Angeles right now. Donald Trump has deployed the National Guard. He has deployed active duty Marines to the streets of California, all based on a lie that riots were out of control, that there was unrest and disorder everywhere. Even though the police said, we've got everything under control, people can still access services, but Donald Trump sent them in anyway as a show of force to the American people. This is what fascism looks like. And I want to show you another angle from this arrest to prove to you that Kristi Noem is lying out of her ass.
I'm Senator Padilla. I have questions for the secretary, because the fact of the matter is a half a dozen violent criminals that you're rotating on your head.
I am Senator Padilla, of California. I'm here to ask Kristi Noem questions, the DHS Secretary questions. And he is manhandled, thrown to the ground, and placed in handcuffs. This should not be happening in the United States of America, everybody. This is not the way that we are supposed to handle our differences. This is not the way that we are supposed to handle our problems. And for DHS to come out and Kristi Noem to come out and try to slander Padilla's name, try to make it sound like, oh, he brought all this upon himself. He didn't even identify himself. He lunged towards my podium. And then you've got DHS blasting out on Twitter this statement here. Senator Padilla chose disrespectful political theater and interrupted a live press conference without identifying himself or having his Senate security pin on as he lunged towards Secretary Noem. Mr. Padilla was told repeatedly to back away and did not comply with officers' repeated commands. Secret Service thought he was an attacker, and officers acted appropriately. Secretary Noem met with Senator Padilla after and held a 15-minute meeting. It's a whole bunch of bullshit up and down the administration. This is what they do. They probably know this does not look good for them, and so they've got to get out in front of it. They have to try to spin up a story, try to make Padilla look bad, try to make themselves look good, so they can get in front of this story and save face in front of the American people. This is what this administration does. They are not operating in good faith. They are not operating in a way that is conducive to a functioning government. And instead, they're just going around and showing force in every little aspect that they can, right? Every little moment that they can. They try to show force. They try to dominate. They try to control. Because this is what fascism looks like, folks. This is what fascism looks like. Now, luckily, MSNBC did a quick hit and just debunked DHS and Secretary Noem's bullshit.
Us a smaller group of reporters before he went on the House steps, and he poked holes directly in the DHS statement saying that they didn't know that Padilla was a senator, that he didn't announce himself. You can clearly see in that video as he's being pulled away, he's trying to do just that, saying he's a senator. But I'll take it a step further. Having covered the Senate, covering the confirmation process, I know that Kristi Noem was here on Capitol Hill meeting with senators one-on-one. And of course, in the case of Padilla, he's not only a senator from California, but he is also the top Democrat on the immigration subcommittee on the judiciary panel. So this is somebody who's extremely involved in this issue. And so for Noem to say she didn't know who he was, that's not passing the smell test for many Democrats up here.
He's the senator from California. Kristi Noem is a Senate-confirmed cabinet member. She had one-on-one meetings with these people before her confirmation hearing. So for her to come out and try to pretend, oh, I didn't know who that guy was. And to think that Padilla is on the subcommittee for immigration on the Judiciary Committee. These are the people who are going to be working with DHS probably most often. So they're just full of shit here. They know this looks bad. They know this does not play well for them. And so they've got to come up with some story. They've got to come up with a way to make Senator Padilla look like a bad dude. So hopefully, America will buy their bullshit. So hopefully, just to make them look a little bit better. These people are terrible human beings. They are not interested in governing the United States of America in a decent and honest way. All they are interested in is control and power. And that is why we are seeing more and more of these events where you've got elected members of Congress who are being placed in handcuffs because they are dissenting to this administration. I want to show you Padilla's statement after he was, let go of detention. Now, I don't think he was arrested. He was placed in handcuffs and detained. I don't think he was taken to jail. But this is what he had to say afterwards.
At one point, I had a question. And so I began to ask a question. I was almost immediately forcibly removed from the room. I was forced to the ground, and I was handcuffed. I was not arrested. I was not detained. I will say this. If this is how this administration responds to a senator with a question, if this is how the Department of Homeland Security responds to a senator with a question, you can only imagine what they're doing to farm workers, to cooks, to day laborers out in the Los Angeles community and throughout California and throughout the country. We will hold this administration accountable.
Now, I hope he's right. I hope he's right that the Democrats are going to find their spine. They are going to find their leadership skills. They are going to find some strategy to hold this administration accountable. That is exactly what needs to be done here. And what he said right here about immigrants and the way that DHS is treating immigrants could not be more true, right? If this is the way they are willing to treat sitting members of Congress, how do you think they are treating people who they are trying to arrest out in the field? Black and brown folks, indiscriminately going after workplaces or Home Depot parking lots, whatever it may be. How do you think they are treating those people? We know the answer to that, right? They're targeting people who have been here for more than a decade. They're targeting people who are trying to show up to work and pay their taxes and contribute to their communities. They're targeting people and rounding up children. They're sending off American citizens to other countries in some cases. They're not giving people due process in many cases. This is what fascism looks like. And I know if you're irritated that I keep on saying that, sorry. We have to continue to call this stuff out for what it actually is. We've got to continue to show the American people that Donald Trump is not interested in making your life better. He's not interested in making MAGA's life better. Donald Trump is interested in power. How many times have we heard him over and over and over again just heaping praise on Kim Jong-un or Xi Jinping because they rule their countries with an iron fist, as Donald Trump puts it. That is what he is trying to accomplish right here in the United States. And he promised us that this is what he was going to do. Dictator on day one. I'm going to go after my political enemies. I'm going to start rounding up people in mass deportations. He is doing the things that he said he was going to do. He is trying to turn our country into some sort of dictatorship. And this is how it starts. Locking up or arresting political opponents. Sitting members of Congress. This is how it starts, right? So we've got to continue to stand up and push back against this. We need to continue to rally behind the Democrats and help them find their spine, find their gusto to hold this administration accountable. Because this is not what America is supposed to be all about. In fact, this MAGA movement, this plague on our society, this fascism that has bubbled up to the surface is completely antithetical to the views that this country was founded on. Donald Trump doesn't care. He only cares about raw power. He wants to dominate you. He wants to control you. He wants to reach his grimy little fingers into every aspect of everybody's lives and exert control. It is unacceptable that this is where we're at in the United States. Fuck these fascists. Let me just steal a couple seconds of your time, guys. This is an important announcement. We are currently under attack by a wannabe authoritarian who is currently snatching people off the streets. He's defying court orders. He's sending people to gulags down in El Salvador. And if you want to be on the right side of history, make sure to visit nokings.org and join in on the No Kings protest this Saturday, June 14th. Let's come together and show this administration that this is not what America is all about. I hope to see you guys there. I will leave it there. If you guys got anything out of this video, please remember to smash that like button and subscribe. Maybe share with a friend or two. I'd very much appreciate that. We are trying to build something here on the left that adequately pushes back against the right-wing media ecosystem that just launders this fascist nonsense for the Trump administration, for the MAGA movement, day in and day out. So if you do like what I do here, please remember to smash that subscribe button. It is free. And if you guys want to see Donald Trump's chilling speech in front of our military, dragging them in to a political theater, go and watch that video on the screen now. It is some very dictatorial stuff. Otherwise, I'll see you guys on the next one.